SSL Master Buss Compressor. How does it work? At the very top of the SSL compressor, you will find the dB compression indicator. This indicator shows how much compression is occurring in increments of 4. The threshold knob controls the knee of the compressor. What this means essentially is that the closer to plus 15, the less compression is applied, and the closer to negative 15, the more compression is applied. The makeup gain knob controls the amount of signal gain that you can introduce back into the compressed signal. When using the SSL compressor, much like an LA2A style compressor, you should compress before applying any makeup gain. The attack knob controls how fast compression is applied to the incoming signal in milliseconds. There are 6 switchable attack rates: 0.1, 0.3, 1, 3, 10, and 30 milliseconds. The closer to 0.1 milliseconds, the faster the signal will be compressed, and the closer to 30 milliseconds, the slower the signal will be compressed. The release knob controls how long the compression takes to stop performing attenuation on the signal. There are 5 switchable increments on the release knob: 0.1, 0.3, 0.6, and 1.2 seconds. The 5th increment is the auto mode, which applies a fast release to short transients and a longer release if the signal stays at a high enough level for a long enough time. The ratio knob controls the compression ratio. There are 3 increments: 2, 4, and 10. Set at 2, the compression ratio will be the lowest, and set to 10, the compression ratio will be the highest. The rate S knob and the fade button go hand in hand and are more commonly used on the master bus than on vocals, so I recommend that you keep the fade knob set at the off position. The N button serves as a bypass button. When the N button is orange, then the compressor is active, and when the N button is gray, the compressor is bypassed. The analog button, when orange, introduces more noise and harmonic distortion into the incoming signal. This is favorable if you want the compressor to emulate the analog sound of the hardware version of the compressor. For a demonstration, I'm looking for the dB compression indicator to read anywhere between 0 and sometimes slightly above 4. In terms of the makeup knob, it is really going to depend on your mix. Typically, I will use multiple forms of compression on a vocal, but for this example, I will be turning up the makeup gain higher than I normally might.
The chin got my bitch insecure. She thinks she ain't bad enough. My brother did 6 years and he talking like he ain't had enough. Nigga speaking like I won't get the tweak and then come clap it up. I used to be the funny guy, now I feel like I don't laugh enough. Excuse me if I'm rambling. I'm mentally exhausted, so I resort to drugs and gambling.